Good.
I'm saying a couple weeks, 3 weeks.
He hasn't had any accidents.
Well, you gotta have a positive.
How do I
one
get
here
off
and
the
there.
floor?
You do.
I'm sorry.
How do we take it off? Or do we just do it?
looks funny? I mean, if you want it on the desk.
I don't think the cord's gonna reach.
These are Velcro. They're in Todd's.
It's alive. You have to dial 9
Nine.
first. Dial 9. Wait for just a second after you dial the 9.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think.
Oh, there we go.
Carolina's almost doing all right though.
We have been wearing our coats in the house, so I think the temperature on the floor the other day was 42 degrees on the floor.
Hello, it's Annie.
I don't know.
Can you hear? Hi, we're just using the building phone, so I'm gonna put you on speaker and then hang up this headset.
So I don't know, maybe. I think we.
Run baby here tonight.
She said she would be.
All right, let's get started with the national anthem, please. I mean, the pledge of allegiance.
Are you
gonna
gonna sing it? Yeah.
No, y'all can sing it. All right. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We'll start with the roll call. Annie?
Yep.
Michelle?
Yes.
Brett?
Here.
Jason? Here. Tim?
Excuse me.
Okay. The agenda, anybody have any concerns?
I would, since Todd's not here, the Rural Water District 1 contract, I don't know if they have a representative here or not.
Does Rural Water District 1 have a representative here? Okay,
Was that just automatically on there?
Well, John Law came in to ask to be on it, and then Todd sent an email late this afternoon and said it's on him. He's got the information from Mike, so he's just doesn't
Okay.
have it all. So probably next one.
Okay.
So do you want to scratch it then?
so we'll put it
Yeah,
on
I don't
the-
have any information, so
we'll still put it on the agenda for
for
March 10th,
10th.
just in case we'd be there. Anything else?
I move to adopt the agenda with that one change.
Second.
Motion to adopt the agenda with the one change by Jason, seconded by Annie. All in favor? Michelle?
Michelle, can you hear okay?
Not very well.
Can I hang this up
I
right?
think so. We'll see.
Can you hear
Is
us?
there a volume on the side?
No,
It's like staticky. Well, it's as loud as it goes. Oh, it's all as loud as it goes. I'll put you up here.
We had one change on the agenda, Michelle. I don't know if you heard that. We're taking one item off. So we went for the approval. 3 yeas and a U. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Minutes, January 27th.
I'll move that we approve the minutes for January 27th meeting.
I've lost you.
Say that again.
It's her phone.
She
She said
lost
she
us.
lost us.
I've lost you.
A motion was made to approve the minutes of January 27th. Waiting on a second now.
Yes,
Is that yes, as in you seconding that?
yes,
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes January 27th by Jason, seconded by Michelle. Any further questions? Those in favor? Michelle?
yes.
Okay. February 10th minutes.
I'll move to approve February 10th meeting minutes.
I'm gonna stand abstain for this one because I wasn't here, so.
It's all you, Michelle.
I don't think she can hear us very well down here.
Brett, do you want to approve it or not? Second it or not? If not, I'll ask Michelle.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to approve February 10th minutes by Annie, seconded by Michelle. Any further questions or concerns? Those in favor? Those opposed?
Yes.
And those abstaining? Okay. Motion carries.
We need to approve the 27th.
You just do that first.
That was the 27th.
No,
We did
we
that
did it
one
first.
Appropriation ordinance 1528.
I will move to approve that.
I'll second that. I didn't see anything unusual, and we talked about carrot tops.
I know, it's such a funny name.
The charge for carrot tops, the flags.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Stephanie just found it.
Okay, who
Oh,
wants
it's
to
been
make a
around.
motion?
Oh, maybe, yeah. Huh?
Brett. You
Brett,
moved to
that's right.
approve,
Moved and
I
Jason
seconded.
seconded.
Okay, motion by Brett to approve appropriation ordinance 1528, seconded by Jason. Any further questions or comments? Those in favor?
No,
I'm sorry. Roll call. Annie,
yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, the floor is open for public comments from the public. Anybody have anything?
I have just was curious about the gas recording.
Okay,
Gas
How
recovery.
is that figured? I mean,
is it the gas recovery or?
the gas recovery, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because I on my bills that I had, since we moved in, it's a different percentage every month. And for December, it was 36.95%, and for January, it was that. And for December, it was 40% of my bill. I don't know how they figure that, so I'm just curious.
I'm gonna let Lisa explain that. I talked about it at the meeting last week,
Oh, I'm sorry.
but I too had a similar concern when I got my bill because it was outrageous, I thought. And when I compared it to last year, I actually used 1 unit more than I did last year. So the only thing difference was the gas recovery rate had gone up from
Yeah.
the previous year. So
Yeah,
I'll let Lisa explain that.
KCC regulates that for us.
Every month they do that?
Not every month. If you look, if you divide the amount by the units, this, so for this coming year, it's like $3.82 a unit. It was $3.51 a unit. And they base that on the amount that we've actually recovered, not that we've billed, but for the gas that we have recovered.
Well, I took my my gas charge, and divided it by the number of units I used. I first deducted the $9.50 because of is that a flat rate?
The $9.50 is in the GS. The $9.50 is a flat rate that's in the GS amount.
Right.
The
And I
gas-
deducted that from the GS, and then I divided that amount by the number of units I used.
Well, your gas rate changes monthly as well. Your gas rate does change monthly.
That I mean,
The gas recovery rate is an annual amount.
because mine ranges from like 30% all the way up to 44% of my bill. So I don't know. it's hard for me to understand, because I didn't even live here during the time that the gas was
Yeah, that's true.
used.
Yeah, we don't like that either,
Yeah.
but there's nothing we could do about that portion.
But on your statement there, the MCF rate that's on your bill there that you have,
Okay,
that is the current gas rate.
and so that times the units should come up to the gas recovery?
No, the gas recovery is a separate line item.
Right,
And that gas recovery rate is the amount divided by like 382, I believe is what the current rate has been for the last couple months.
382
382 for the gas recovery rate.
Per unit.
per unit. Well, then,
I'll be glad to take a look at that with you.
okay,
But
okay,
but I'd like to ask you to not to do it at the moment. We
Okay.
don't want to take time at the moment to do it, but at some other point, either tomorrow morning or after this meeting's over,
okay,
be glad to take a look at it and
all right.
look at the
The
calculations.
KCC establishes that rate for us.
Uh-huh.
And so we just have to, unfortunately,
And then
for
I just want to
7 more years.
Yeah, drop the drains that come down off of the street, the street drains up by my house, coming down the hill, Lake Hill, they're full of sand. I don't know if they're taking it on any water for drainage or not. That's just letting you know. So, and our water froze up and the lid was kind of cockeyed and there was snow and stuff, so it froze up. And we got it unthawed in about 30 minutes, but yeah, and the little heater or the styrofoam deal inside the meter was standing straight up and down. It wasn't laying down like it should be. I don't know how that happened. But
Did it affect the water going into your home?
yeah, we could.
Yeah,
Give us a call down at City Hall and we get the crew out there to look at it.
Or can I
Well,
get your
it's
your-
corrected now.
name
Yeah, I
and
know, but when
your
it
name and
happens again.
address?
Okay. That's all I have.
And your water drain that you were talking about, is that on right by the highway going up
The
out
one
of town,
coming
and
down
it
the
has
highway and the
stone?
one right on the corner. There's two of them.
I actually am meeting with the contract or the concrete guy tomorrow to be getting a bid to replace that one. So
Oh, okay.
All right. But like I said, I'll be glad to look that over for you.
I guess that one other thing on top of that, because I'm the owner of the house that she lives in,
Okay.
is, if you get with the people that are checking the water meters, if they can make sure that they put it back the way it's supposed to be. Because we don't know, we're not saying that they did it, but
Yeah.
for some reason that meter cap was taken off and somebody had lifted up the styrofoam and.
So is this
we didn't notice it.
305 Mulberry, is that the
Right.
address? Okay. There you go, 305 Mulberry. We'll have it checked out.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I want to address at the vacant building part later
Okay.
on in the meeting.
Yeah, we'll let you do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Wall, did I see you walk in the door?
John,
It's fun right now.
I didn't see him leave. I thought he's behind the door there. Is he here?
yeah, he is.
Hey, John.
You got called in.
I called Jen.
Yeah.
We got a message from our attorney late this afternoon that he wouldn't be here.
Oh,
But
okay.
but he does have your concerns and he will take care of it and get back with him. I think that's what he said. So
Oh, okay.
I didn't want you to hang around all
Oh,
night.
great.
If,
Appreciate it.
If
I'll just give him a call tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be great.
See where we are.
And we put it on the March 10th agenda.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Just in case it needs to go in there, you're on it.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
All right. Is Robin Baker here?
The city truck's gone, so I'm assuming she's probably out.
Okay. I noticed that we have a check that was written for this person for this concern.
Well, no,
That's,
No.
is that, well, that one's different. Okay, that's the other thing, isn't it? I know what it's talking
this
about
was
now.
asking permission to remove
Right.
that tree that's buckled her sidewalk.
Let's hold off on that and give Robin a little bit of time to come back in. So let's continue on.
Well, she probably has the information for this dock transfer too.
Right. So we'll just wait on that. Hopefully she'll come in.
I thought she was gonna be here.
Pardon me?
When I talked to her earlier, she said she was gonna be
Yeah,
here.
she's on the agenda. That's why she should be here. Cindy, we're gonna hold off just for a few minutes. When they come in, we'll just fit you right in, okay? All right, thank you. City business audit review.
I did not print that out. I had emailed it to everyone. I don't know if anybody had a chance to review it.
All 64 pages of it.
I tried to stay awake.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
It didn't look like there was any findings. Is that correct?
correct,
Okay.
correct. So,
So we just leave it to-
well, I'll just let them know that the council had a chance to review it, and then they can submit their final report, and then it has to be filed with Department of Accounts and something in the state of Kansas. But
So there was nothing.
I mean, there was just, a few budget authority that was very, very, very close, but I think there's some exceptions that they can note for whatever various reasons.
Okay.
I mean, I know employee benefits was one, and I believe solid waste was one, trash removal, solid waste. But, I mean, they asked about the gas, but I said that was kind of a wash because of the project south of town with it coming in and going out. And so they would have made a note in that, and I did not catch one, so.
I didn't see anything crazy when I looked through.
Yeah.
I didn't either. Like I said, 64 pages. That was rough. All right, let's move on. Next up is the alley, the request by Lloyd Price to vacate the alley. Comments?
No, it's not actually an alley because there isn't an alley there.
It's platted as
It's
an
platted as an alley.
It's platted as an
There's no utilities through there.
The only thing Todd said in his email this afternoon was,
There's a lot of those around.
We need a survey if
he
we,
said a survey,
I actually have
he said, I reviewed the map
5.
made and no issues with it, but it is the decision of the council. If they agree to vacate, a survey would be helpful of the area, or I could try to describe it in reference to the roads, but that is not as accurate as a survey. So, I mean,
You would like a survey, is that what you're saying?
if the council chooses to vacate that, we would probably ask Lloyd to get the survey, and then it has to be passed in an ordinance. I mean, just that way the cost goes on the homeowner and not, that's how it's been done in the past.
So with the county had that I sent over on email, that wasn't suffice.
That's not the legal description, Lloyd.
I mean, but that's what they have. That's what they have in their records, right?
We do have legal descriptions of the properties around that alleyway of our properties. We have legal descriptions of that. I haven't denied. If that's,
I mean, we could see if that would, I could send that to the attorney and see if that's descriptive enough for him to draw up the ordinance. The ordinance goes into that legal description as far as,
okay. Well, I do have that paperwork if,
okay.
There's only copies
on
there.
Teams.
I looked at it on accident without realizing I was looking at it because I was making a route around Eskridge
Yeah.
and drove by the property and went, oh, that's kind of a cool little corner there. But afterwards, I read the notes from the last city council meeting and realized, oh, that's what they were talking about.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, regardless of the situation is, I own the property to the west of it, I own the property to the east of it, so there's a 20-foot stretch that's in there, so
Right.
you want to keep that 20-foot stretch is what you're saying.
Well, but we just need to get a legal description of it and then see where that goes.
So if there are some things that, if we have to get whatever that you're asking me to get right now, I'm sorry. There's some costs involved with it, just let me know what those are and we'll try to do what I can to.
isn't the southwest corner that all that, doesn't that belong to another family? At Sanford Road and Mulberry where they connect,
Yes, that's
Okay.
owned by,
Interns,
sorry,
Jenny Warren or something.
Jenny Warren or Jenny, her last name is.
that's their sisters
Yeah.
or in-laws or something like that.
Yeah. So, because I don't know if there's an alley, I can't remember if there was an alley designated coming from blocks off that spot. I know when I talked to her, when she was talking to me about purchasing that land from several years ago, she'd asked me about it, but I don't know if there's an alley.
I don't think there is.
Like 10 years ago.
I don't think there is.
The street is supposed to go through,
The opposite.
all the way up to Stanford Road. And that was the cutoff there. What is it, second or fourth?
You may have
I'll
some
be
of
in
your
for mine next.
So, and that purpose behind vacating is that you may eventually build a home there. Is that
Yes.
okay? Just
Yes.
just
So,
asking
yeah,
for a
hold on.
reason.
So my goal is to put something on top of that hill.
There actually is a house.
And whether it's my house or whether it's another rental house or, I've always had the dream that when I lived here from, back, I moved in 85. Okay, and so my Uncle Jack lived on top of that hill way before that. And so, as soon as I got that property, every time I go up there, you can look out over you can see forever. So the original game plan, like I said, when I moved back to Texas, was going to build a house on top of the hill so I could see forever. Okay, and that's still my dream. Okay, but it just hasn't come to fruition yet. So that's what I want to do. And that's what we're preparing for. So I'm taking the first step in preparing for that.
Okay.
So maybe get some more tax money, and hopefully I can make it look a little better than it looks right now. That's the goal. And Carol's probably not even on the damn thing right now.
That's the easy part of there.
Yeah,
Now, if she'd just get down there and cut those trees down, we'd be all right, wouldn't it?
yeah, that's true.
No.
Along that city line, I do need to get all that cleaned out. I don't know if that's a combo between us and you, the city and my property. It's all that trees along that big hill. As you're going up Lake Hill to the left, let me know if that's mine or if that's yours.
Well, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but I'm also working on a grant with the U.S. Forestry Department in Wabunsee County together to clear up wooded areas around our city and county in an attempt to prevent a disaster like they had in California.
Sure.
So we might get some relief to have these trees cut down around here. Now, how much of a relief, I don't know what it is, but even if it's $500, it helps.
Well, clean up that side of the hill, and if people are coming into town or going out of town, it gives them a
Sure.
little bit of hopefully more, hey, this is a good little town, maybe I need to move here.
Right.
I honestly don't have a problem with it.
I don't either.
Okay, in this particular situation,
My
It's a-
concern is that we vacate it and then you don't build. So is there any way that we could? I'm not for vacating it.
I don't.
Obviously, I'm not changing my stance. Like I've always had that stance. I'm not going to change it at this point. Is there a way to word it that we vacate it as long as there is actually a house going to be built though?
I doubt
Because if we
very much that we can hold them to anything like that. I don't think that's even a.
is that a question that we could ask Todd?
What's your objection on it?
Because there's
He's
I'm
saying
just
he
not-
wants you to build if we do vacate, basically. But I don't think that you can hold a
you have
landowner
the
to
votes.
anything.
Obviously, you can tell you have the votes that it's going to be vacated. I just want to make sure that there's actually going to be a house and that you're not going to change your mind, because then we vacated it for nothing. Been in favor of vacating any old platted road. If you've obviously you haven't watched all the meetings stuff, but I've never been in favor of that.
I've said yes and no in the past. In particular, if I feel like it's not going to be used ever,
I think this is an awkward
ever's a long
property.
time.
but even if you came back and said you were going to put a road here, it's a really awkward place for a road to go, and you've got an attachment just right above it anyway. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to then add a weird side street there.
It's an awkward property, so I don't have a problem vacating the alley because I don't see a purpose for an alley there
Or in the future.
or in the future.
This whole town is awkward. That's what's wrong.
So I will move that we vacate this property. And then if you have the legal descriptions of the surrounding properties. If you could give those to us, we'll see if that's enough for Todd to draw his ordinance for it.
And I really do hope that you build a house there.
I will second.
We have a motion by Jason to approve vacating the alley for the Price property, seconded by Annie. Any further questions, comments, concerns? Those in favor?
Yes.
Okay, and Brett.
I'm
Motion carries. We'll vacate it with the information for the survey, okay? Find out where I'm at here. Here we go. Okay, now we're gonna jump back to the Mann's family since
Robin's here.
Robin's here. Robin?
Is she on the phone? I thought she was on the phone. Robin? Is she on the phone? Are you on the phone? She's on the phone with the IT guy, so if you just bypass her for a little bit longer.
Do we need the water conference still on here?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Was Barry gonna go to that?
Well, he was supposed to get back with me and let me know, make sure his family didn't have anything going on since his wife works out of town a lot. That she doesn't have anything going on that weekend or that week. And it's March 25th to 27th, which I think is a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That is correct. I'd like to send him. The others have been down there, and I think that would help him tremendously.
I would like to send him too, if he's available to go.
I don't think anybody has a
And
objection.
his only objection was he did not want to take his own vehicle. So I don't have a problem with him taking the city vehicle. We'd be paying him mileage anyway if we did that. And then, so between now and then, we'll get him registered and we will confirm with him that he could go. And then we'll discuss per diem and the rules surrounding what he can and cannot do representing the city while he's out. Okay.
Sounds good.
I don't know for sure if we need a motion for that.
I just had a quick question on it. When Mike and Jim went down, did they drive down every day or did they stay down there?
I don't think they drove back and forth. I just assume he stays down there. There's a lot of activities. Have you seen the brochure? You guys are welcome to look through it. There's a lot of information in there, and I think there's a lot of things that can keep him busy.
Where's it at?
Wichita.
Oh, yeah, it's road trip.
I've heard it's a good time.
4 hours of driving back and forth every day would suck.
Okay.
Especially when the classes start
All right.
at 8 in the morning.
Okay.
Still
So
paying the mileage.
we'll put that on the agenda again next week, and we'll verify with Todd if we need a motion to get that approved and blah 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 blah. Okay.
I think the challenge will be finding a room for him at this point, just from historical information I've had.
Yeah, they list a ton of,
Registering for the conferences won't be a problem. Excuse me,
But finding a hotel room.
finding a hotel. So,
they are scattered all over that place. According to that. Okay. All right, let's go back. Let's back up to the dock transfer, Mann's to Mann's.
I was the doctor's for. I know about a tree.
what was in your email there?
I haven't been able to get into my computer. I was on the phone with Chris about,
Okay.
so he just fixed me up and I can't get into it now, but
So you don't have any paperwork to show us?
No.
Cindy, what do you have
I'm
for us?
sorry, Cindy.
Roger and I own 113 Lakeview Circle, and that home has no dock. And for our home, there are 4 docks on our home. And so to come in line with the ordinances, we're asking that you transfer 2 of those docks to 113 Lakeview Circle, and it is not a lakefront property, so there's no property line in common with the city of Eskridge.
So yours is lakefront.
Yes.
No.
76 is
But
lakefront.
the one they're wanting to transfer to is not.
113 is not lakefront.
Right. Okay. So
I would say that we would be able to transfer 1 dock to that property, but we don't allow any properties to acquire 2 docks.
Just use the grandfather rule.
to the grandfather rule, and which has been in place for
Before
well before me.
The dock we have in mind would walk down the property line to have access to the dock. It's labeled on our bill when we pay for the docks as an oversized dock.
Okay. The one you're wanting to move over to 113.
Yes.
Do you have a standard dock? Is one of the four a standard dock?
Yes, one is. But it does not have access from the property line. You have to be walking across the properties.
I don't think we can move forward at all until Robin goes out.
Yeah, I agree. There's not enough information.
And I apologize.
What
No,
information do you need? I mean, this is a non-lakefront transfer we're talking about.
It's just that for the last several years, we've been mandatorily making our public officer, Robin, go out, and she would then measure and inspect the docks and stuff before we would do anything. We've done it literally to everybody. So I think that's what we're going on, is that she hasn't put her eyes on it. But it's to come back to make sure that it's actually accurate. And that's just to help us clean up problems that we've had for years.
Well, it is an oversized one, so, but I understand that you would then have measurements to put on that oversized dock.
Right.
So you say there's no access to that dock that you want to transfer without them crossing somebody's property?
Yes, there is, to the oversized dock, not to the standard dock.
And the oversized dock's the one you're wanting to move?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was clear on that we weren't crossing somebody else's property to get to it.
We're physically going to relocate it. Okay.
Changing ownership.
We're not actually moving it in. Okay.
Yeah, we're not changing it in.
But that's
It's
just
not
how
building a new one.
Ugh.
That gives us I think if we table this to the next meeting, that gives Robin a chance to go out and look at it, get all the motions we want, and us time to kind of mull that over a little bit.
Yeah, it is kind of a newer situation, at least in this regard specifically. But if you don't mind, I know that's kind of a pain to have to come back again, but I would appreciate
What's
more
the date for that?
information.
March
we can put
10th.
it on the
March
10th.
10th.
So I will move that we table this to the March 10th meeting to give Robin time to go out there and take a look at it.
And I will
we can
get
all
that done.
Thank you.
rack our brains to see how we think.
I'll second.
Let me know when you're coming, I can hold the other end of the table.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, we have a motion
I hope
by Jason
There you go.
to table the transfer request by Mans,
We should not get Justin in.
seconded by Brett. Any further questions or comments? Concerns? Those in favor? Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay. See you at the next meeting. And I think it's kind of noble that you're getting rid of one of your property. That doesn't happen very often out there, one of your docks. So anyway, we'll have an answer for you at the next meeting. Okay.
And I'll let you put it on the agenda.
It is. We got it. Okay, now we're going to back up one more step to Spencer's tree removal for Lake.
Like I said, we talked, I can get one if you'd like, but it's just a big dead tree that's right beside our dog that really does need to come down.
That's all we needed.
That's it.
So I'll move to approve that she removes it.
I will second.
Are we covering half the
No,
cost?
she
No,
is.
Okay.
she's covering this one.
Okay, motion by Brett to approve Spencer's tree removal at the lake, seconded by Jason. Further questions, comments?
You got it.
You guys look so much alike. I'm sorry, I get you all confused.
I mean, you know,
We were twins last.
Should have stayed home
Should
tonight.
have left your hair long, I guess.
Okay, seconded by Annie. All right, and no questions or comments. All in favor? Michelle? approved 3-0. I should say, those opposed, abstain, on the phone. Okay,
Is she still there?
She's still there. You go.
that one's approved. Yeah, let's see where we're at. Okay. Employee handbooks next.
I did not get an opportunity to make the updates, and I'm still waiting to hear back from the permanent employees because I got it to them so they could have a look at it before we approve it as well. So I'd like to table this to the next meeting as well.
I know last meeting Tim said just like 2 minor
Yeah,
changes.
there were just 2 minor changes. It
And
wasn't
honestly
anything
couldn't
crazy.
find. Oh, okay. So did he give them to you already?
Yeah, I've got the notes for all of that stuff for the 2 that were brought up last time.
I just have one question on one of the changes that I got an email on the other day. And that's 1-2, administrative responsibilities.
I did find that. You did send it to me,
Yeah.
and it didn't go to my other email when I forwarded it.
So-
So that's why I lost it.
The first half of that is what's already in
Right?
the handbook. My thought is there's not really any way to have a member of the city government necessarily have managerial skills. Like I have 19-year-old kids that could run for office, and I know they have no management skills. And I know that there are people on this council that don't have management training. So for us to be supervisors of city employees doesn't necessarily make sense. And it's entirely possible we're just going to rotate through every 4 years. That's possible. So having us as kind of an unstable leadership isn't the most ideal.
I probably wouldn't be opposed to what you're saying there, except for the section that says we're the city clerk. Same thing happens with city clerks. They could be unqualified, untrained too.
Right.
So you're planning to send employees to a managerial school so
Or
that they have managerial skills?
or hire employees with managerial experience. It might be something that we need to change for the future of the city.
And then send ones that are managers now that have not had that training to that training as well.
Potentially, yeah. That way they can
I
have a
see it as
stable
slippery
managerial.
slope.
It could be.
There's no accountability now. I don't know how you would find accountability when employees are managing each other, but
Well, I mean, that's kind of how the whole rest of the world works. You have a manager who's responsible for the other employees, and he's held accountable by the organization. And we, as the governing body, would hold the one person accountable. So whoever the senior employee happens to be, if we went forward with a city manager and made them the supervisor for city employees, then the city manager answers to the council, and as a governing body, we act as his supervisor or her supervisor.
so then they would be coming to the meeting and reporting then,
Yeah.
right?
So then we would have a regular report on employee statuses, any employee issues, anything that the council hears from the general public that we would like to pass on to the city employees, we would pass it on to the city manager or whoever the senior employee is. It's a step, I think, in that direction. More stable leadership for permanent employees. They're potentially here for 20, 30, 50 years. We may be here for 5 minutes and somebody else takes our spot.
I have to agree with you.
I mean, it
And
is the way it works.
I spent 18 years in the military, and people rotate through all the time. I've had 20 different supervisors in 18 years. So
Communication alone, I mean, there just
Yeah.
seems to be none, so.
Well, I just want to
So you're
emphasize that
taking authority away from the mayor then?
not necessarily. I think
I think there's still a lot of authority built into.
technically, so the mayor is not the administrator for the personnel program anyway. That's what 1-2 said from the beginning. That the clerk is the administrator of the employee for the personnel program
under the direction.
under the direction of the mayor, which is how all of those appointments work. The mayor directs this person to be the administrator for a program. So the clerk is the administrator of the personnel program.
Well, the city clerk doesn't be the supervisor of the employees. I think
But I
you
think
strike
that's,
that.
yeah, that's something we need to, that's why I brought it,
Yeah.
I wrote it, and we need to kind of clean that up.
Okay, look it over for the next 2 weeks and we'll clean it up on the 10th.
Do we need to move to table?
Yes.
I motion to table the employee handbook for the next meeting.
I will second that.
Okay, motion by Annie to table employee handbook to March 10th, seconded by Jason. Those in favor?
Yeah.
There you are.
She's back.
Okay. That motion carries. Okay, city code, vacant buildings. Benji, you want to talk?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
go right ahead.
Okay, I'm opposed to putting this ordinance into effect. And so I have been doing all kinds of research, contacting Council Grove, contacted the attorney who is in charge of Holyrood, Lincoln, and Sylvan Grove with all their vacant building things. So I'm going to do my little spiel and then I'll answer questions. In completing a bibliographic study of the decline of small town America, I see that in the past 50 years, in numerous publications across the Midwest, the majority of small towns are suffering from the exact same effect that every other small town suffers from. That is the closure and decline of services available to citizens of those said towns. The decline of youthful population also contributes to that decline. When we moved to Eskridge, there was no longer a train here. The train disappeared due to the paving of roads and the increase of the trucking industry. The stockyards that were here had been bulldozed down and senior apartments had been built. When we came to Eskridge, we still had a Ford Motor Sales and Service. We still had a newspaper. We had a large grocery store. We had a grain elevator / co-op. We had 2 service stations with mechanical services. We had Dunn Home Supply. We had a funeral home. We had a doctor. We had a pharmacy. We had a ceramic shop. We had a tavern, an antique shop, a secondhand shop, a soda fountain, an optometrist, a dentist, a laundromat. And through no fault of ours, no fault of yours, all these businesses closed. At the time we moved here, there were 5 churches, and now we only have 1. We had multiple community service organizations. We had the Masons, the Kiwanis, the Women's Study Club, several EHU units, an American Legion post, and now we have none. We had a full service post office, and now we have a half-time agency. All of these agencies, businesses, service organizations disappeared through no fault of mine and no fault of yours. Times do evolve. Businesses close. Buildings stand vacant. We will not get these services back ever. And once again, it's no fault of ours and no fault of yours. Even though we've seen a decline of services in this town, we can say that we see daily UPS and FedEx trucks traveling our streets. People are more likely to order supplies online rather than walking into physical structures that may offer only 1 or 2 colors of the same item. Why should a person be limited in their selection? After all, it's their money. Nothing you do and nothing I do will cause those coins to leave their pockets, unless the purchaser is so inclined. We see more and more semi-drivers traveling through our community to haul cattle. They may even spend the night on our streets, staying in their sleepers. Rarely do they spend money in our town. Again, no fault of yours, no fault of mine. We cannot make people choose to patronize local merchants. If a property owner chooses to offer items for sale, provide services or locations for activities, it does not mean that citizens will walk into that door to avail themselves to obtain that said item. Again, not my fault, not your fault. Jack and I chose to complete the Brownfield study. We are among a select few that chose to participate until the end of that study. Janice said she would get with us to continue our efforts to attract buyers. She never did. In our political In our current political climate, we doubt that she ever will and that we'll ever see her again. We will continue to participate with Stephanie Inthern for multiple efforts for economic development. She calls, would you be willing to ... fill in the blank. Sure, bring them around. We will do what we need to do. She never calls back. What more do we need to do? Again, not my fault, not your fault, not her fault. I hesitate to register our building with a realtor. They are not interested in a building that will, again, not provide them with much revenue for their efforts. Again, not my fault, not their fault. Why should we do that? I end this by saying, if you choose to financially penalize the people in this town, you're double taxing. You're trying to put money into the coffers that each taxpayer has already been paying for property tax. And that is not fair. So I oppose this proposition.
Well, thank you for your input. I will say that one of the problems that we have in this town with these buildings that are vacant is that they're falling apart.
I agree.
Their windows are broken, bricks are getting loose, they're starting to fall. Somebody's going to get seriously hurt one of these days. And if the city doesn't do anything to the property owners to get them to fix that up, we are just as liable for damages as the property owner is.
So is everybody responsible? I mean, I've tried, we've tried. We've got our insurance in place. We've done every rectification that has been brought to our attention. Why should we have to pay extra tax when other people are letting theirs fall apart? We have done our effort. We did the Brownfield study. We did what was asked of us. And that's not even recognized in this ordinance. It's not even on here. And I have written all kinds of notes on here. One of the things you said, we would like you on that committee. No one ever called me to be on this committee. So anyhow, I'm showing up and I'm saying that this needs to be rewritten. It's not done well. I agree there are buildings falling down. I see them daily.
And when it comes to that, we can't pick and choose which buildings we want to include in the ordinance. It has to be a citywide ordinance. It can't be everybody except the Foster building. Can't do that.
I understand that.
So
you need to have steps or something that say, okay, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. If you have complied with this, then you do not have to do X, Y, Z. It needs to be modified, and it's not.
Well, I will assure you that tonight's mission was not to make it final, that we were going to pass an ordinance tonight and make it effective immediately either.
Okay.
That is the purpose of having these things on the agenda for the public to come in and give us their input.
Well, you just got it.
I got one of them. I'd love to see other people come in and give their input as well.
Do you have any recommendations for how we can step forward on this? Because I would really love, at least at a minimum, safety. But, you know, like everyone, I would like a town that we can use and are proud of. I'm not putting that all on you. I'm just asking if you have.
I have. I went through here and I have all kinds of stuff underlined and circled. So I would be happy to sit down with you.
I will say one step we never did complete was creating a committee to actually work on this. And that's part of why I've been kind of dragging my feet on it as well, is I don't like it. I feel like it's too complicated anyway, as far as the fee schedule, fine schedule, but I don't feel like it's really getting to the point of what we're trying to do. And I know Jana, when they came in, they talked to the council on their own. She made the point that Council Grove, maybe it wasn't Jana, but whoever came and talked to us, they talked about, you know, other towns have adopted this kind of an ordinance. And we thought they were talking about something else completely. And she said, yeah, they met with the business owners, they got on board, they all talked about it. And then she basically described the fee schedule we had. And it was like, well, that's exactly what we've tried to do. I just think we didn't get any buy-in in the first place. So we haven't had that open door conversation about what do the business owners want? What can we do to do this better? you know, how can we save these buildings and how can we make our town better in general, before we started trying to say, well, here's your penalty. So I do agree with that entirely. I'm not trying to come into this to punish anybody. I do want us to do better. I do want us to grow. And I understand what you're saying. Like, we can't be like we were in the 70s,
No, you
you
can't.
know, with the railroad before. We're a bedroom community. People drive to work, they commute 45 minutes. But I think that we are seeing a change in our culture in general, and people do kind of want those stores back, and maybe not to the booming effect that they used to be, but I think it's doable. So I have a different opinion on at least that portion of what you were saying is
When
I
you
think
have-
we want some of this back.
When you look at the census records, less than 25% of the people in this town are over 65. So you have a bunch of younger people in this town that could be moving and shaking, and they aren't.
Hey, I'm moving my butt off, Benji. I need help from others to join in for sure. I think a lot of people have that, what do you call it?
Inertia.
Well, lack of, because they think someone else is going to step up and do it instead. And there is no one else. There's 500 people in this town. If you're not doing it, nobody is.
I
Honest to
lived with
God.
this ordinance. I didn't know about this. I own 102 Beta, and I know that is a dilapidated house.
Mhm.
I bought it with the intention of bulldozing it down. I still intend to do that, hopefully this year, and converting into a car lot. That didn't really work out. I'm working with Ed and Rachel Souther on buying the liquor store lot that they were going to have next door to the storage unit. I
Mhm.
still plan on opening a car lot here, kind of like what Payday had 20 years ago. I remember Eskridge much more vibrant as well.
Yeah.
And I want that for these guys.
Yes.
So I am trying to invest in the town and bring stuff back. I'm very much learning, which is why I'm here. So, you know, there are people who are interested in doing it with you.
Awesome.
Cool. I do think maybe this is a committee, but which I've thought for a while anyway, but I don't know. I know we've got Envision Eskridge kicking off too, so maybe that's a committee that could take this on, but maybe that's not the direction they want to go either. I don't know. We'd have to. I'm going to go to that meeting this week too.
Well, it could be a part of that
I
meeting.
think so.
Well, I don't know. So I would love ideas. Obviously, time constraints are an issue. I mean, we only have so much time to spend on this extra, but no, we're not passing it. And I mean, it is passed already, but we've basically kind of held off anyway. We don't have a public officer currently, so we don't even have someone to enforce it.
We rescinded action on it here several months
Yeah,
ago.
when I first got on
For
council.
further review.
Yeah. So it is just basically sitting in limbo currently still.
But you're kind of, until you talk to the actual, each property owner, you can't really do too much of anything. So that's an important part is to find out what they, because even if they wanted to lease it to somebody for a business,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if they own the property, they're gonna have to fix it up.
Oh yeah.
I agree with that. I think the first step is sending letters out to each individual owner and meeting with them in a group, maybe in a work session type setting, not in an actual council meeting because it's going to take time. You're not just going to do it in 20, 30 minutes. I agree with a lot of what you said, and I agree with the part that you said as well. And I think that's the best step. But there is organizations going, like Annie and I have 3 meetings this week.
Yeah.
So we have this meeting, we have the park board meeting, and we have the visioning
Vision
meeting. We need more people to be involved in these committees because
The vision
a
meeting might
decade
give
of
you
doing
guys some
this,
ideas
Annie
too.
can attest, sometimes you feel like you're burnt out.
Yeah.
So we just need other people to get involved to do it. But I hear you and I agree with a lot of what you're saying.
When is the vision meeting?
Wednesday,
When
6:30.
it was supposed to be on the 19th last week?
I think probably the weather was a little
Postponed. Well,
Yeah, the
I
weather.
was out of town, sorry. It was
Oh, you're all right.
70 degrees where I was.
Boo.
No snow.
Get out.
Where is that Wednesday meeting at?
The senior center this time.
Is
So
I-
6:30.
Absolutely.
Anyone can come.
Yes.
The more the merrier.
6:30 at the senior
It's
center.
coming Wednesday.
Yeah, we're still.
Yes, Lloyd?
Is there an email list? Is there a Facebook page?
Yes.
There is an email list and Richard Orton is usually here and he's the one that kind of is organizing the visioning committee with Kim Davis. So if he was here, you could totally be put on that list. Would you send him an email? And
I
ask
can,
him?
yeah, you wanna write your stuff down and I'll just put you on there.
And if anybody
Right
is
after my
here
phone.
that wants to,
I'd like to be on that.
But here, just write it.
I've got it, Annie.
Annie will get your information and
Well,
add it to
She's,
it.
she's been reading mine and dad's for years.
Yeah. the-
What's your name?
My name is Joshua Spangler.
Okay. Great. You know, the other day I drove past that place and I thought this guy could put a car lot here.
Yes, sir. Well,
I
I had
haven't heard
it.
nothing on it, but you know,
I had it sold.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then that fire backed out, so I'm just gonna knock
Is
it.
it for sale?
It
Would you
is.
sell it to somebody?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But I know it ain't much of a house. It's just a lot.
Just be careful who you continue to sell. I mean, we would like you to just tear it down. Can you just tear it down and then we can talk about selling.
Right.
'Cause I
I
think
think it'd be
we're
a
all a little
beautiful lot.
jaded by that.
Yeah, it's right there on the edge of town.
Yeah.
It's, you know, one of the first things you
It's been a
see.
long time.
It needs to go. I agree.
Long time issue.
I keep thinking fire departments need to be like
They can
looking for
absolutely-
volunteer fire.
they,
They can't. I know they can't do it, but God,
Thank
that'd be
you.
awesome.
That's
Great.
the
yeah, I say they can't do that anymore.
I did that back in Dover 20 some years ago. We did that to a couple houses. Yeah,
That'd be an easy fix.
it would be. And it's a great training exercise for the new guys.
Thank you
know
for
what I
your
mean?
input, Benji. And we'll see you Wednesday night at the Senior Citizen Center then, huh?
I'll try to remember.
Okay.
I'll remind you. I gotta come pick up Jack's truck anyway.
And I will say that the visioning
That's
committee
not
isn't
2 days
one that
from
has
now?
adopted
Yes.
Main Street with the buildings and the vacant thing. They have their own thing going, so it kind of depends on what they want. It
I'm sorry.
may need another committee. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm not, yeah, that's what I was trying to make clear is I don't want to step on their toes because I really don't know what direction they're going yet. So
I think they're still working on.
We
it.
would like that. Motivation to continue over into this ordinance.
Yes.
And if you know in town or surrounding rural area that would want to be of help or on any of these committees,
I know a few people.
feel free.
Sign 'em up.
Good.
It's never too early to start.
Okay,
I would, in reference to the vacant thing, I do think that we need letters sent out to each person who owns the buildings, and I do think we need to set a date for a work session, because I don't think we're gonna get anywhere in a regular meeting with this.
Okay, so
I'm hesitant to do it in the month of March.
when you
with
say
weather
send a
and-
letter or send a letter, what do you mean?
Send a letter of what we're thinking, exactly what we've talked about.
Okay.
Send them the ordinance that we had, if they had any, so that they can read what it currently is, and if they have suggestions. I mean,
No,
I'm
I
not-
I think that's a good
like
idea.
that. And invite them
Yeah,
and have a conversation.
and just have a conversation.
So you think not March, April?
I'm thinking like the first week of April or something. I mean, we don't know what the March weather is gonna do. It's already canceled the visioning meeting. We've already moved the park board.
We've got stuff, yeah, there's stuff going on, so it's fine. What?
Michelle, did you have any comments? It sounded like you were trying to. It sounded like she was trying to say. Okay.
Does the ordinances, though, and I apologize, I haven't been a part of this, okay, but are the ordinance all visible for everybody to see right now?
They're on the Eskridge webpage. So if you go to the Eskridge webpage and look at
Anything on?
codes,
No,
are
that's
the ordinances not on
the
there?
ordinances are not, that,
You're able to
City
come in and
code
talk to
City
Lisa.
code.
She can print them out. for
that
you.
was, excuse me, all ordinances that were passed up until like 2017. When was the book codified last? I think it was like
I think
2000.
17.
So any ordinance that's been passed since then is not online.
Online?
No, haven't we codified it since then? Haven't we done that since then?
No,
Are you
I
sure?
don't think so. Not like an official.
Can
Are
we?
you on the council then?
I can check and
Can we
see how
add that on
to
there?
maybe
Just
go
see how to do
about
that?
doing that.
I know there's things on there for new ordinances and old ordinances. There's things you can click, but they don't do anything.
Oh, okay.
So there's links there for ordinances, but I've never gotten them to load anything
Okay.
because I've gone through city code stuff on there.
I'll check with Chris and see what it takes to upload
That would be good.
100 ordinances.
I think with AI now, you might be able to get done a little quicker than.
So,
Feed it in and go.
so we want to set a work session date in April.
I think we should.
So what weeknight?
Do you want it the same week as the council meeting? Do you want it
No,
Let's just
opposite weeks?
torture ourselves
well,
as normal.
I'm thinking a Wednesday or Thursday night.
I could do a Wednesday, preferably. I don't know what everybody else is busy.
What does the Envision
Schedules.
Eskridge do? Because we don't want to end up on the same night.
They're usually
They're
Wednesdays and Thursdays.
But
Is
what
when they've
days?
been doing. They haven't had it. I don't think they have it like
Set 'em
7 days.
set.
It's just kind of a
Yeah,
Wednesday
sure.
or
And
Thursday.
your council meeting in April is the
But they're
14th and
usually the week
28th.
of the council meetings. They have been. So
Okay.
we do it in an off week.
April 9th is a Wednesday night.
April 2nd or April 9th, either one.
Doesn't matter. I mean,
Either one works.
Any of them.
Any suggestions
During the day.
during the day?
And this is for the dilapidated buildings.
This is the
Well, it's so it'll be
ordinance.
Yeah,
It'll be
for
the
the-
honestly-
business district.
Honestly, you're gonna have a
in
hard time
reference
getting the
to
majority of
vacant
people here
buildings,
during the day.
dilapidated buildings.
Because like Andy said, a lot of folks are they work out of town. They're not here during the day.
You know, when this ordinance was first passed with Dolly, they called a meeting.
either the 2nd or the 9th of April.
Hardly anybody showed up.
That's true with anything we try to do. Hardly anybody shows up. That's why we keep trying to get people involved.
And are we talking about in the evening?
Yeah. I mean, we'd have to.
I mean, we can do it earlier than 7, right?
I can try and get out of work early and do that. Yeah, I don't have a problem doing that.
We're doing it on the weekend.
Oh.
I'm a weekend guy, but I can't get anybody else to commit weekends.
Gotta get
So.
that- gotta get something.
I already
You
work
know
on
what? It's like,
weekends.
it's time to
I
get-
know.
Are we moving or are we sitting?
If you don't reply, you might.
You know, do it on the weekend.
Either one would work for me.
All right.
I'll come on the weekend. I'll commit to that. Right here.
We're on a
There it
weekend.
is. It's down. It's already you got one.
You got two.
Two.
I don't care what day of the week it is.
I'm telling.
I do have to draw some lines sometime, or I just spend all of my time doing this.
Hey, you know what? Both of those Saturdays work for me too.
I couldn't even tell you.
I couldn't tell you. Let me-
I'm a paper calendar person. That's kind of bad. All right, pick a date already if we need to adjust it, but we're gonna do a letter, right? So we need to
Well,
just
it's a
pick
work
date.
session.
It's a work
It's not
session.
like you have to have your quorum.
No,
So let's do the 5th. It's the first Saturday of April.
7 a.m.
No,
Saturday, man. Come on.
That one, or if I can-
Jason doesn't do anything
There's one
7
I don't do
a.m.
anything at
Two
7 a.m.
Saturdays
on a
a month I
Saturday.
can't commit to, and 2 that I can, and I don't have my calendar to tell you which one.
So let's
Time.
tentatively let's do 8
Can we-
a.m.
Hold on, can we
Wait.
rewind this? Can we do a weeknight to start, and then we'll do a weekend? Can we do that later? Okay. Can we,
Go
let's
back
just,
to the 9th,
let's just go back. Yeah, April 9th sounds like a good number.
6:30. It sounds like
Sounds
a decent start.
Let's just write it down. So we're gonna send a letter, April 9th, yeah,
At 18:30.
to all of our Main Street business owners,
And that
asking
is
them
something
to
we're having to
attend.
do?
Yes, Lisa,
You
are
want
you?
all business owners, vacant or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Anybody
what
involved?
time?
6:30.
I think we should do
If it's
it.
too large, we'll try to, do we want to do the senior
I
center?
think we should do the senior center.
Okay, the senior center will do it.
Benji, I do wanna step up for Jana though, for you right quick. She's got an awful lot on her plate. She's got 7 counties that she works what we're doing with here, and she is working behind the scenes to help you and other business owners in Eskridge find buyers. That's the problem, I think, a lot of
Given the
people.
political climate, I'm not gonna hold her to nothing.
Well, that's your choice. That you have the freedom
You know,
to do
I
that.
feel like she's up between a rock and a hard place right now, and so if things happen, fine, and if they don't happen, then I'm not gonna be surprised.
All right.
I'm also a little disappointed with the Brownsfield thing.
Oh my, I'm terribly
April
disappointed.
9th, 6:30 at the senior center. Okay.
like that plan.
Okay.
I
next-
do think that Robin had one more thing, and we can just
I
skip over.
do have one more thing. I damaged the truck door backing up. Get a trailer on.
Huh.
And I have 3 estimates of what it will cost to repair it.
Would you like to buy that truck?
I would love to buy that truck.
Huh?
I would love to buy that truck, but anyway, it's anywhere from 32 to like $4,200.
What's wrong with the door?
I just dented it. I dented it and won't shut properly.
I mean, it's insured, right?
Not that one, no. That's liability only,
Oh,
like most of our vehicles are.
I don't know if Pauline does any work, but if you maybe talk to him to see if he could,
Paul.
see if he could finagle it to be able to open and close.
You should get the
Are we in a
trailer
hurry
on
for it?
and speak up.
No.
Right.
Then
And possibly needing new
I know, mechanic.
shocks and tires on it as well. And that's all I have. And I do.
I say we sell
apologize.
to Robin for $700 and then we get one of the other trucks down here and let her use it till she wrecks it and then we can sell that one to her too.
God,
hold off on approving an estimate and I'll see if I can look at it and need to bang the door back out.
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need to approve the estimate tonight. Either.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, I just wanted to get that out there.
It's an old beat up truck. I can bang it out with a hammer. We'll be all right.
I've asked a couple people, but I didn't want to, of course not.
Okay,
Wow,
next
you
thing,
did it.
next thing on our,
Well, you might
the
actually
last
be
thing,
still doing that.
the last thing on our agenda is an executive session, and normally we hold the executive sessions after the public meeting so that you guys can go ahead and leave. We will call the session back into open session once we're done, and then we'll immediately close it out. If you want to hang around here, that's fine. Otherwise,
Could we do the mayor and council comments before then?
sure, go ahead.
Because I did have a couple things.
I just have a quick update. I
Go
am
ahead.
working on the lake garden bed estimates. They're in progress. So I
Oh,
didn't just drop them. It's happening.
For
But
the sprinkler thing?
yeah, and I think I found some stuff. It's pretty affordable, really. Like in the timer and everything. So they
And
wouldn't have to
speaking
worry.
of that,
I didn't talk to Mike yet.
I got, excuse me, Jeb had not been informed, so he is informed now, and
Okay, so he's working on it.
so he took a copy of that, so he has the dimensions and everything, so.
Okay.
And then somebody was working on cameras. Was that-
Yes, I'm gonna do
I didn't know
camera
if that was
beds,
Tim. Okay.
solar lights for the flagpoles, the water irrigation. I think we can actually rig it pretty cheaply for the park as well.
I still don't have the final bids either for the new gate for the bait shop either, so I have that coming. I did talk to the guy that we are removing the stump out at the lake in front of the barracks, which hasn't been done yet. So he's kind of wondering like what the time frame was that going to be because it's been quite a few
I
months.
saw a locate that just came in this afternoon from Bob,
Okay, so that will be
and I think he had, the work date was like the 27th, which is Wednesday.
then the question because I've spoke with him. So the question he had was is it going to be gravelled back? Because he'd be fine with gravel, but if not, is it going to be grass? And is he going to be on the hook for the grass replacement? Which I said he shouldn't be because it's our land. But so that was another thing for that. So I will get back with him. And then the other thing, which really isn't us, and I was kind of hoping Richard Orton was going to be here, but over at Lakeview Circle, I know you guys aren't familiar with the names of the people and stuff, but it's by Isla Rose Bosworth and Randy Mitchell and Don and Shirley Grantham. They had built a new building there. You might, oh, the man's is left just they had built a structure there, kind of like a prefabbed building, and they've left the pile of dirt there. Now it's going to be like 6 months, and it's kind of washing across the road and down into our cove and kind of washing into our cove. So a couple of the people, even though it's not on our things, brought it to my attention because they didn't think that we'd want stuff being washed, sitting in our cove. So they just wanted me to bring it up to see if we could ask LWID, which is why I was hoping Richard would be here. Because do you have
I'm not sure where you're talking about.
Lakeview Circle? So it's right by Isla Rose. So it's
Oh, okay.
where the fire lane is between her and Randy Mitchell, from what I understand. But the big dirt pile has been there since, like, they said September, and it's now going across the road and then down the waterway into the,
We'll talk to you.
okay. Okay. That's actually all I had.
Thank you.
Anybody else
No.
concerns? I don't either. Okay, well, we're done. We're gonna go into executive session. I don't know for how long yet, because nobody has made the proposal.
Do you want 5-10 minutes?
It's not for me.
This isn't mine. I
I'm
don't.
sure it's gonna be the, looking over the applications we
Okay.
got. So maybe 10 minutes.
Thank y'all.
Thank
I'll
you, appreciate
move
it. See you
to
Wednesday night.
executive session
Yes,
for
sir.
10 minutes.
For the purpose of
Non-elected personnel.
non-elected
We'll
personnel.
call you guys and let you, I guess we'll figure out what we need to do on the land. We're gonna give you some paperwork. You're gonna.
Yeah,
give
if
me
you
some
or Cheryl
paperwork.
could email me the, whatever legal description you have and all, that's sufficient for our attorney.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate it,
you.
guys. Thank you. See
Second,
you on Saturday.
starting at
8:13. Let's go by this thing here so I can see it.
Well, this is, our cell phones are all they say
Oh,
at
okay.
8:10.
All right, we'll go
Yeah.
8:11, give you time to turn the camera off.
Okay.
for the period of 10 minutes.
10
you said.
10 minutes.
We need
And we'll meet back in this
Here,
room
8:21.
at 8:21.
Is Lisa gonna be present?
I think she should.
Well, go tell her. If you would, please.
With Lisa present, I mean, she's gonna be person training them, and if
That's
she
fine.
has
I don't mind if
concerns
she's in
about-
the.
Yeah, no, that's a good
I
idea.
don't mind that either.